before I get any further, let me let you introduce yourself to our audience, and who you are and what you do.
Yeah, okay. Well, first of all, my name is Wayne Crooks. I am, man, talk about myself here, but I'm a native of Evanston, Illinois, which is where I am currently. After having living in places like Dallas, Texas, and Chico, California,
Yeah.
I am back to my birthplace to care for my elderly mother. I grew up here and then left after high school, went away to college in Wisconsin, earned my bachelor's and master's degree there, and initially kind of got involved in the criminal justice system.
Okay.
And that was a real eye-opener for me at 23 years old.
Yeah.
Because I think I, to some degree had lived a relatively sheltered life. I wasn't, naive about what was going on in the world, certainly, but now it's like it was up close and in front, So I had that experience for about 5 years, and then I took a detour into corporate America, and worked for United Airlines for about 22 years. And some of that time, most of that time, actually, I was also doing work in the field of mental health.
Okay.
So I did some work in Dallas, school-based health program there. And it was kind of like a collaborative effort on the part of a couple of agencies. And so my piece was the mental health part of it, but also was involved in doing a lot of healthcare with teenagers, especially.
Yeah.
And then eventually I started, kind of honing down what my interest might be in terms of mental health, and started working on getting licensed to do therapy in Texas. Right. And so that started probably, I think now it's been about 25 years, something like that. I don't recall the number of years, but I've had, done other kinds of things as well, working in public agencies in a mental health capacity, and then when I got to Chico, I was working in the, I don't know if people know about this place. If you are from Chico, you will. It's the Puff. So this is the place where they would take someone who is suicidal. And this is a place for people who are involuntarily committed. Okay, they're a danger to themselves and to other people. So I worked on you could say the mental ward. Okay, it was fun, eye opener as well. And then kind of got involved in the community there in Chico, in the I guess the social justice community there. Mm-hmm. And when I came to Chico, I heard about the African American Family and Cultural Center, and I said, "Man, I gotta find out what's going on at that place, because that sounds like right up my alley." As a way of getting involved in the community. Really is what I was thinking about. And that happened a couple of years after I got to Chico. Well, actually, more than a couple. I'm sorry, take that back. Probably about 4 years after I got to Chico. It happened 3 or 4 years after I got to Chico. I eventually ended up there, and really enjoyed the work that I did there. Enjoyed working with you. Definitely. I learned a lot from you. And I feel honored, to be your mentor. I really do. I want to honestly. I feel honored to that you see me in that way. And so, my experiences, I think, is not only, from a professional standpoint, it's just from a life experience kind of thing as well. Having had the opportunity to, travel around the world a little bit and experience different cultures and that kind of thing, it was also, that's also added to my, knowledge base, I would have to say. So, I'm at this point in my life now where, I'm essentially retired, but I feel like I need to somehow contribute in some way.
Yeah.
And that had a lot to do with me being involved at the center too.
Yeah.
And what I'm doing now is just online therapy, I maybe 10 to 15 hours a week, something like that, not a whole lot. But it brings me a lot of satisfaction to know that, I'm helping people who would not otherwise probably get help.
Yeah.
Some of the work that I've done online has been with people who are incarcerated at some county jails in Texas. Okay. So I did that for about a year and a half. And it made me realize the extent of, the mental health problem in incarcerated populations, Yeah. Because yes, I have worked in a number of jails and prisons. Well, prisons really. And I knew that, okay, yeah, there are people here with issues, but this was many, many years ago. Now, I think what I'm seeing and what I've seen is that, the extent of the problem is chronic.
Yeah.
It's really serious. Surprisingly, Texas thinks that it's important to be able to provide mental health services to these people. I was shocked.
Yeah.
And when that opportunity was presented to me, I jumped at it.
Of course.
I mean, I have to, I have to do it because I know what's going on back there,
Man, no, that's big.
So that was the beginning of me kind of doing this online. And now I'm on a couple other platforms, and I have the flexibility of deciding how much I want to work, where and when.
I like that.
Yeah, definitely. And this is a result of an experience that I had with a previous employer who asked me to do this for them.
Yeah.
Because they knew that I was a clinician, and as I was doing it, it felt kind of strange because I'm more at that time I was more accustomed to, an office setting kind of situation, and now we're doing something online, and I thought, well, this is kind of weird. I don't know, but then the more I did that, it made me realize that I think this is something I could do in the future when I retire.
No,
so
for sure.
That's what I'm doing.
Hey man, no, I like it, and you touched on two valid points. Doing something that you're able to do with flexibility, something that you love. I don't think a lot of people really seek out those opportunities, but also doing something where you're in a place where you could help other people get better, and there's definitely not a lot of those people out there. So hats off to you. And like you said, I kind of started off my whole journey in the criminal justice system, but on the other side, sir, you should have came and mentored me. I went to jail for a little bit when I was younger, and it definitely did a lot to my mentality. It really broke me down, and really had to reimagine. I had to reinvent myself, and that was really tough. You go through your life. At this time, I was in my early 20s. And, I had all these plans, college and all these plans, but in one foul swoop, all those opportunities were taken off, and I had to figure stuff out. And one of the biggest battles I had to overcome was myself, not falling into the lies and the trap of having a record and going through that whole thing. So that was a really big deal. And so even now to this day, I try to let people know, man, the biggest obstacle you're going to take on is yourself, is your mind, and putting yourself in a situation where you could be better for yourself, which led me to working with the Boy Scouts and having a good salary and really, being able to travel and experience cultures and things like that, which made me appreciate, what I have and what I don't have, and just, the what could be and being able to bring that to where I am. But it really, I don't know, it just made me grow and see that, there's more to life than just, having money and being in that corporate world. So I quit. So when I quit, I wasn't happy. And really I feel, and I told you a few months ago, I had a heart attack. And really I just felt like, I just wasn't taking care of myself. I was on the road a lot. I was just, when you're in corporate and you're on salary, you go where they tell you, and there's no really clocking off. So I was just working odd times and just, wasn't happy with the direction of the company. So, I'm back to doing what I love. And I think, back to living, trying to be healthy and just waking up every day with a smile on my face. And that's a big deal. And I don't make as much money as I did. And, gas is expensive. And sometimes I do think back like, man, I wish I had that extra change. But I just, being able to wake up and do this with you is a blessing. And so people, I think, really, like I said, need to find their purpose and their journey. And so with doing marketing in the media, I'm always online. And I see a lot of people seeking help in the wrong places, looking for love in all the wrong places. And that's really all social media. I see a lot of people seeking validation, seeking respect, seeking love. And I was also someone who a couple years ago, when I went through a divorce and stuff like that, did online therapy. And it really was helpful. It was something that I did for the first time. Because I think, like you said before, in an interview we did before for MOK, you spoke about just the difference between having a office and people coming in seeking help, and how being online provides people more opportunity to get that help. Have you seen a big difference in your years of therapy? Have you seen a big difference between being, in person and being online? Are people more open, especially in the African American community? And why do you think that is?
Yeah. I've been asked that question a couple times.
Yeah.
And I really never thought about it, because I think what happened was that I don't really notice a difference, quite honestly. I connect with people. We're able to connect even though we are doing this online.
Yeah.
And proof of that is the fact that people just keep coming back. Yeah. If it wasn't helping them, they wouldn't come back.
Very true.
And I have some clients that I've been seeing since the pandemic.
Yeah.
Because that's when all of this exploded. So there's still some people that are coming, like every week. So what does that say then? To me, it says that obviously, they're getting something out of it. And a big part of, therapy, the effect of therapy is the connection that you have with the therapist.
Yeah.
Okay. Outside of technique and modality and all the rest of that stuff is, how do you feel about the person that you're working with? Do you feel that they understand you? Are they listening to you? Do you feel connected to them? Okay, yeah. Can they relate to you? That kind of stuff. And then, trust has to develop as well.
Yeah.
All right. So again, I was able to do that in office setting.
Yeah.
Okay. Because people would continue to come back. And I noticed that, wow, you're online, I'm doing the same thing.
Yeah.
Now, it may not work for everybody. Okay. They do have the option of being as anonymous as they want to be. They can do audio and video, or they can just do it by phone if they just want to do, just an audio type of thing. All right. Which some people want to do because it gives them a certain level of privacy. They need that. And I understand that. That's no problem. Yeah. We do need to give them that option. But honestly, Josh, I have not seen a difference in being able to connect with people online versus, them walking into a room with me. I haven't.
No. What are some of the tools that you give people when you do therapy sessions? I just recently did an episode with someone who was a life coach, and they explained the difference between therapist and a life coach is, there's an end game plan with a life coach when there's not one with therapists. It's just an ongoing relationship, as you say. Do you see it as that? And what are some of your tools and methods to keep those relationships going?
Yeah, you kind of have to be flexible. I noticed that because the clientele that I'm getting now is the demographic is different than what I was accustomed to in an office setting.
Okay.
I'm seeing people who are much younger and don't have a lot of life experience, honestly. So I realized that, I was doing more than just trying to help them deal with, mental health symptoms. I was really kind of giving them, or have been giving them, advice about how to live life, choices to make. Now, I'm not forcing them, obviously, to make these choices. I'm just saying, consider, these set of facts here in making your decision. Okay, because again, at 20 and 25 and 30 years old, even, they don't have enough experience to know or to be able to anticipate what could possibly happen in the future.
Yeah.
And I noticed that a lot of young people, in addition to mental health symptoms, they have difficulty with their relationships.
Yes.
Like how to do it in a healthy way, So I think that's kind of where I noticed I'm really kind of giving more, it's more the life coach kind of part of it.
Yeah.
And not the therapy part of it. Okay. So it's a little bit of both. It's a little bit of, depending on the situation and the individual.
Like I said, a lot of people be seeking love in all the wrong places. And if you guys can't see my hairline, I got 2 baby mamas. And I don't know how I struck the lotto twice, but they're both kind of difficult. So really didn't really look at the full picture when I chose these relationships. But people grow, people change. But learning how to deal with those relationships around me and really know who I'm dealing with and choosing the right battles. That's something that really took me a while to get. It's funny. My mom told me before when my kids were young and, all these issues started, the sooner you let them think that they're right, the sooner they're learn that they're wrong. And what that meant was let go of the problem and let God handle it. You can only do so much in relationships. And at the end of the day, I realized that it's really on me to better me. And once I figured out, my worth, it was easy to relay that to who I was with or who, I was dealing with, whether it's my kids, whether it's my job, or whether it's my partner. Knowing who I am better, I can better relay that to the person I'm dealing with, and then they know where I stand, and we move accordingly to to react to that. And so that's just one thing that I learned. And like I said, that was kind of with you, Mr. Wayne, taking me out kayaking for the first time. I was like, yo, man, I'm a little crazy with movies and do too much and real dramatic. So I wasn't about the lakes. But you open my eyes to just exploring and things like that. What are some of the things that you have people or tell people, how to better help themselves?
Well, there's three things that I emphasize to a lot of people, everybody really, and that is based on what I've read. It's not just my opinion about it, it's based on what I've read, and I'm reading it consistently, and that is, the foundation for caring for ourselves on a physical and mental level involves really 3 things. And that is how much sleep we're getting and the quality of the sleep.
Yes.
Okay. What we are eating and the quality of the food. Okay. And the third thing is how much exercise we're getting. Okay. So those 3 things kind of like, I believe, establish like a foundation for us that we can build on to be able to experience, not only good physical health, but also good mental health, especially. Okay. Yeah. So I talk about that kind of stuff, regularly.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, of course, the ways of caring for self, I think is your question really,
Yeah.
is endless. It is endless, really. It literally is endless, you know, and it's very personal. It depends on what people are interested in, what they like to do, you know, what turns them on, you know, all that kind of stuff. What their interests are. And so, I mean, we could sit here until the rest, the rest of the time here talking about how to do this, you know, like we've talked about it. You being able to do what you love to do right now. Okay? This is self-care. Okay? It's not just eating the right food, you know, or making sure that you have nice clothes or, you know, roof over your head, that kind of stuff. You know, is what are those psychological needs that we have? You know, right here, we're connecting. All right. We work together. We've hung out together. We haven't seen each other in a year. You know, and now for me to do this, when you said, hey, would you be interested? I'm like, hell yeah, I want to do it. You know, not just to be able to talk about the topic, but to be able to connect with you. You know, so I think that's a really, I don't think it's, maybe some people kind of overlook it. You know, but we got to eat, we got to sleep, okay, you know, and those kinds of things. But also, as a human entity, we need to connect with each other. We need to connect with each other, you know, in some way. Okay, we do it in a lot of ways, you know, on the job. Connect with each other that way. Not always in pleasant ways, but
we still connect.
You know, there's still some interaction going on there. Okay, you know, with our friends, with our families, you know, neighbors, some stranger out on the street. You know, that's kind of our you know, basic nature to want to be able to have that interaction. So that I think is like a really important way to do it. You know, is to make sure we're reaching out to other people and, you know, that kind of stuff, especially people we haven't seen in a long time. You know, be able to connect with them.
No, man, like you said, it really is not as complex as people try to make it seem, man. It's self-care is the best care. But as you said, it's really the simple things in life. That's what I tried to relay to people. But since you're licensed, it really coming from you, I think will hold a big impact. But yeah, man, I learned that doing things that I love to do, nothing crazy. People like, yo, why are you smiling? Why are you so happy? I would say healthy, but you know, since I not as healthy as I would like to be, but I thought I was. But it's just, you know, being able to ride my bike to work, being able to do what I love to do, reaching out to you and Mr. Choi and my buddies and just watching the game together for an hour. It's really those things that I'm finding out the older that I get are the things that really make the biggest difference. Getting some good sleep and eating some good food. It really makes a big difference. I'm telling you, when I was just driving around eating Burger King and fast food all day with the scouts, it was, you know, I had a heart attack, you know, it was weighing me down, even though I didn't know it was, but just being up, working all types of crazy hours and not being able to take care, doing those simple things, like you said, took a toll on my body and I didn't even know it. So being able to do those things, and just experience, you know, community. And that's one thing that traveling helped out with. I went to New York and it was opposite. Everyone was so happy and, you know, waving and friendly that it made a difference. So any last things that you want to say?
Well, first of all, before I forget, to your credit, Josh, I mean, when you talk about, you know, what you've experienced in life, man, you know, I admire you so much for where you are. You have no idea. And I've told this to other people as well, some of my good friends, you know, when I talk about Chico and I talk about the people that I've connected with, and, you know, you're one of them, certainly, you know, but I want to let you know, man, I have deep admiration, respect for you for where you are. I'm telling you, you know, and it gives me it does give me a sense of hope. It really does. You know? I'm telling you, it does, because we see so much of that other stuff, you know. Yeah. And I know that's not the total picture. That's not the total picture. Parting words, man. There's a lot that I can say. But you know, with regards to self-care, please, as you said, Josh, it doesn't cost a lot of money. It doesn't have to take a whole lot of time. It's something that we can do on a daily basis. Even if we just give ourselves 30 minutes, 30 minutes, is enough to do something that, if it's possible. I know sometimes it's not always possible for everybody, because of schedules, obligations, and things like that. But what happens is that, like with you, it slowly catches up to us.
Yeah.
And like you said, you would have never known, right?
Yeah.
Until it actually happened. Okay. So therefore we have to do some preventive things, get out ahead of the stress so that it doesn't take us down in the end. Mm-hmm. So that's where self-care comes in. And again, doesn't cost a whole bunch of money, doesn't take a whole bunch of time, but if we don't do it, then, there's going to be consequences to it eventually. And, sometimes it could be pretty serious. So self-care, just like it says, I look for some definitions here, but, it's doing the things. And it's really kind of, some people would consider it to be a practice of, just doing the things to preserve and improve, our health.
Yeah.
Okay. Having that ability to care for ourselves through being aware and having some control and being self-reliant so that we can, accomplish things, maintaining, our health and our well-being.
Yeah.
Reading from some definitions that some people have had, but basically self-care, it's taking care of ourselves. And especially for people who have the responsibility of caring for others, even more so important that, we do self-care.